Well, hello everybody. Um, gonna do a stick with me. She's got a new, well, not a new. She's got her setup all professionalized over there because she's back into diamond painting. Yeah. I'm sure she'll give us a tour and tell you all about what's been going on. You know, no tags, no none of that. Just chatting, just chatting today. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, let's get on with the stick with me. Okay.
Well, hello everybody. It is Sunday, November 24th, and Brian's grilling out for the game. And just, you know, we have an issue with this being on our little tiny balcony, and then, you know, he doesn't shut the door all the way. It's just cracked a little. So then it tends to pull all of the smoke right on in to the...
Okay, don't do that.
Don't do that. Okay, I'll edit that out. Pulls the smoke right on in to the apartment. So our clothes and everything, furniture, all smells like grilled steak. Anyway, we're going to do a stick with me today, and I'll tell you all about Jesse's car accident. But in the meantime, he doesn't want to be recorded, so we're gonna stop this right here. Okay.
Yeah, and I want to have room out here when I grow, okay?
Right.
Because I'm going to be going back and forth, and you'll be in my
I'm
way.
only gonna be here for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So I got it all set up for. You know, I've been listening, the fur versus for. A lot of people say fur. But anyway, I digress. I've got it all set up for diamond painting. No more flat surface. We're getting into it. And I'm going to start on this one. This is for Mr. Grumpy Pants for Christmas. And we're using, first of all, the oh, hang on. Jeez. Don't need to be getting, you know, my check information. The tabletop easel that way back when, that was like the first gift that was sent to me, and Chandra sent that, burst into tears, that whole thing way back when. And if you're still watching videos, love you, girl. She had a channel, hasn't posted in a really long time, but yeah, she's such a sweet woman. But yeah, she made me cry by giving me this tabletop easel. So I have my painting link on here with my light pad, and then I've got my, these are the clear chopping mats that Heckgiver sent, and my sticky pads that Vicky gave me, and these are the little containers from Dollar Tree, and these are the scent booster pellets that Heckgiver sent, and oh gosh, God, I can't remember who gave me the grinder. Oh, I'm so sorry. Was it Vicky? Did you give me this? I've gotten so many things. I feel horrible not remembering. But that was also a gift, the diamond grinder. And then I've got the Elizabeth Ward container. It's sitting on the easel. There's a little shelf there, all kitted up. and Michelle gave me that. And then the little tray for the pens, and oh god, here I go again. Was this from Vicky, I think? And then Annette gave me my first diamond pen like this, and I love that. That was for Christmas last year. And then I got this one this year. Love that. Absolutely love it. And my scissors, again, Vicky. And let's see. And then I have this just kind of propped up on here with some sticky pads to hold it in place. And then I just found something to stick in there. But anyway, that's kind of propped up there. And I've got, you know, my binder clips that Rhonda, did you send me the binder clips? Oh gosh, I think it was Rhonda. But anyway, yeah, almost everything I have was given to me. So I apologize if I can't always remember exactly who. I bought the Dollar Tree container. I bought that. And then I had this. This is my single placer. I made this one out of a ballpoint pen. And then I've got, I use mainly the 3-placer, and then I've got my straightener on the other end. That's my main go-to. And then I've got my 5 and 9, I think those are 5 and 9 placers there. And of course the tweezers. And I made my labels from my label maker that Vicky sent me. And I keep a little extra piece for my trays. And then I've got my, I haven't put it out yet, but my tray board that I use as well. And that one I probably put, I don't know where I'm going to put it. We'll have to figure that one out. I haven't got everything out yet. And then, yeah, so that's like, we're pretty well set up. I got to get my trays out, but yeah. So everything's like right there. Right there. So let me get my final stuff out and we'll get started on this painting. And then I'm going to be interrupted because he's making steak for lunch, and we're going to be eating it any minute. So I'll be right back. A little time has passed since, you know, let's get started, because number one, and the minor factor, lunch was ready. I think I remember seeing it was 1:55 earlier when I was recording, so nearly 2 hours. But what really held me up was bugging the living crap out of me that I couldn't remember who gave me this stuff. So I had to go through, oh, that's fine if it does that. Let's just stick this, get rid of that. So anyway, it was bugging me to not remember who gave me something. So I had to go to my binder, and I've shown this before. This is where I keep track of everything everybody's ever given me. But we don't all get right on top of putting things away. So I have, you know, a folder where I'll just put the packaging or whatever until I put it away. Well, yeah, I hadn't put anything away since like July. So like 4 months of stuff had stacked. Anyway, so I had to put all that stuff away, and that took, I don't know, hour and a half or something. This was from Vicky. It was never posted in a video, off of Amazon, and Michelle had sent me this. I don't know, hour and a half or something. in with the dog bed video as extra little things. Okay, so, and then this was Vicky from a while back. So yeah, okay, I got it. And yeah, can you believe I remembered Rhonda gave me the binder clips? So yeah, that I remember. What is wrong with me? I get excited over office supplies. I can't help it. I know Vicky sent me like, Vicky sent me a lot of these clear covers and the binder itself. So yeah, Vicky understands my passion for office supplies as well as Rhonda. But yeah, okay. So now I need to kind of decompress before we start, because yeah, that took a lot out of me doing all of that. Now all of a sudden I'm in like this super organization mode and wanted to yeah, I just feel like organizing everything, but no, we're gonna, things are getting out of control here. Yeah, let's move on. Let's do something fun. You don't want to watch me organize my shit. I mean, it's not that bad, but yeah. Okay. All right. I'll get you set up and we'll get going on this. It's kind of like a curse having ADD and OCD. You get distracted and then have to like finish it, but then you get distracted again, so you never finish. I don't know, it's a challenge. Life's a challenge. And you know, I realized sitting out here when I'm recording, like we're in jail, like we're in jail, this is not nearly as enjoyable as the old poolside chats we used to have. Someday. I'm thankful that, you know, we have a place to live. So, anyway. Yeah, can you believe that was all like a year ago? All that unbelievable shit we were going through. And you guys all, like, totally saved us through all of that. I so appreciate everything. I'm thankful so much for so many wonderful people in the community who came to my family's rescue a year ago and really just saved us from such a disaster of what it could have been, how bad it could have been. It wasn't easy, obviously, you know, having to sell the house and sell my car and move into a tiny little apartment on the 3rd floor with stairs, no elevator. I'm not bitter, but it could have been so much worse. We could have been homeless. So thank you all so much. I'm so grateful for all of you. I mean, it is Thanksgiving week, right? Thank you. And I'm thankful going through that book of how many wonderful, wonderful people have shared themselves with me through notes and cards and gifts and all kinds of stuff. And it really does mean a lot to me. And I really appreciate everything everybody's done for me. Whether it's just, you know, a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. When we used to do the ad campaigns where everybody was running my videos, my video playlists 24 hours a day to help me bring in some revenue. And cards and notes and little gifts and things people have made and sent to me, and candy and all kinds of stuff. I never, ever, when I started my channel, would have imagined how many incredibly wonderful people would come into my life, and I'm so thankful for that. You guys are great. I love you. So with that said, I'm going to stop blathering on about how great you all are, because you really are. Because I don't tend to be a terribly gushy person. But I'm going to stop this video and just keep my eye on that guy, because he looks kind of shady. Okay. See you soon. Okay, we are all set ready to go. Got everything but diamonds and trays. So let me get you situated, and I'll tell you what's going on. Finally, what are we, like 25 minutes in? I don't know. But let's go. Let's stick. All right. I'm going to start in the top with A's. I think it was on Thursday. Yes, I believe it was Thursday. Jesse came home and I was still on the clock. I had, I don't know, 15 minutes to go. And the dog is growling and barking and losing her shit. Absolutely going crazy. So, what the hell is going on? Luckily, I wasn't on a call. You know, I was between calls. But she was going nuts. Absolutely nuts. So, I'm like, Jason, shut up. And then, I guess that was earlier. That was earlier. A little while later, Brian comes home, walks in, and I'm still not off the clock. Did you hear what happened to Jesse? I'm like, no. He was in a car accident. I'm like, oh my God, is he okay? Yeah, he's fine, but he totaled his car. Shit. Okay, so I get off work and Jesse's sitting out in the living room with crutches propped up next to the couch. Like, well, what the hell happened? So, the story is in that he had, I'm going to give you too much information because that's how I am. He gave his 2-week notice at work a while ago, maybe a week ago. So he's on his last 2 weeks of work and starting a new job. And they sent him to go get lunch for everybody in the office. And where's my stickies? Where is it? I need my tacky. I don't know what I do with it. I can't do this without the tacky. So they sent him to get lunch, and they were going to pay on the company card. Sorry, I'm wandering around looking for my tacky. What the frick did I do with it? It's supposed to be right there. It's not. What did I do with it? Great storytelling, huh? Okay, hang on, let me find it. The shit. What in the absolute shit did I do with it? No, I just have to grab a new one. That sucks. I just had it. Seriously? Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm going to pause. You don't need to hear me digging around all over the place trying to find this. Okay, I found it. So they send him out to go pick up lunch for the office on the company card. And he goes and picks up lunch, and he's on his way back to the office. And he's 22 and motivated by food. His whole life existence is making it to the next meal. And then when somebody pays for his meal on top of it, woohoo. So he's thinking while driving back about the food and how to go about getting it all carried up to the office and dispersing it and wanting to eat and smelling all the delicious smells in the back seat. And next thing you know, he slams into another car. Apparently he was so distracted that he ran a red light and hit the front end of another car coming the other direction. You know, a side street. T-boned him, essentially, but a glancing blow rather than right in the side. So he spins, I think he said he did, you know, a 720, which is 2 times around, and skidded off the road and slammed into either a pole or a tree. His windshield shattered. His phone flew through the windshield. The back seat became a smorgasbord of tacos and pizzas or whatever the lunch was. And his adrenaline was going, so luckily he apparently was all the airbags deployed. He got out of the car and walked to the other driver to find out if he was okay. And the other driver apparently, you know, gotten out and was walking as well. And his response to Jesse was, "Why did you do that?" But he was okay. Everybody was okay. Only one person in the other car. So then, you know, the adrenaline starts to wear off and he starts to feel some pain. Well, apparently he sprained one ankle and they think he fractured the other. However, his boss came to get him because he was a little concerned about, you know, the expense of an ambulance ride. The other driver did take the ambulance to go get checked out just to make sure he was okay. Jesse called his boss with the phone that he found out in the road apparently, and it still worked. So his phone was okay. And his boss came to get him, took him to the urgent care where he said he waited, I think, 2 hours to be seen. And they told him to go see an orthopedic specialist. They gave him like a plastic brace with some Velcro straps and a couple of ice packs to put around his ankle that they think, I don't know if he's putting it on the one that they think is fractured or if he's putting it on the one that they think is sprained. Don't know. But he's got both ankles messed up, but they only gave him a brace for one foot. And he didn't go on Friday because this all happened Thursday. He didn't go to the doctor on Friday. Apparently, you know, because he can hardly walk because both ankles are messed up. And that barking that Jasmine was doing, that was him getting home on crutches with his boss helping him into his room. So that's why she was going nuts. Not only was there a stranger, but Jesse's got these crutches. And now every time he comes out of his room with the crutches, she starts growling at him. So we're living with that. But yeah, so he didn't go to the doctor on Friday. Nobody said anything to me about, you know, taking off work and taking him or anything. And Brian just started his new job this week, so he didn't, apparently, whatever. And then it's the weekend, so doctors aren't on weekends, so I don't know if he's planning on going tomorrow. I have no idea. Because, you know, Brian's his biological father. I'm stepmom, so I don't deal with that stuff with the kids. That's Brian's area. But yeah, so he's still hanging out on the couch with ice on his foot and crutches. And of course Jasmine doesn't understand that he's in pain, so she gets all nutsed up and jumps right on his ankles. Wonderful. But so we were having a good old time last night, joking around about Jesse with the food and the car accident, and what are the odds anybody's going to ever ask him to go pick up lunch again, and he, you know, shit like that. You know, you better never try to work for Uber Eats. Just crap like that. But yeah, so he's has a good sense of humor about it, because he's the one who said that he doesn't remember anything of how it happened. He didn't even know that he ran through a red light. All he knows is he was thinking about the food and wham. So yeah, but he's all right. And the police officer told him that he, as far as he knew, the other driver was fine. So very lucky and thankful that nobody was seriously injured, because that would be horrible, horrible, horrible to have that happen to anybody. But yeah, so I was teasing him too, because again, he gave his 2-week notice, and I said, you know, well, that's the last time they send you to go get lunch. Now, of course, he's not gonna be working there anymore either. I think he had like the rest of this week left, and now he didn't go because he can't walk. So yeah, anyway, he's fine. Everybody's fine. His car's totaled, and apparently the whole back seat is covered in food. He hasn't gone yet to go get his belongings out of the car, but it's gonna be a mess, I guess. And he had just had a flat tire this last week, and they had to come get a tow truck and tow him in and whatever. But his car has been nothing but headaches since he got it. So at least we had collision. So get something for the car, put toward him getting another one. But now Jesse and I both don't have cars, so that's all right. And Quinn is home for the weekend. I'm assuming he was working this weekend, maybe not. Maybe just came home to help out with Jesse. Which is good. He comes home, I think, every other weekend, approximately, which is good for Brian, because Brian has a tough time now this time of year, not because of any kind of seasonal issues like I have. It's because of deer hunting. He told me yesterday. Yesterday was opening day for deer hunting back north. So he has not been hunting now in, I think, 3 years, and it's driving him crazy. Very depressed about the whole thing, because it was like a major part of his life. So again, we say this every year. Hopefully next year we can afford for him to be able to go up north hunting, take some time off work and go stay with his parents and go deer hunting next year. We've been saying that every year, because that was always the intention with moving here, was for him to be able to go back up north every fall for at least a week or so to be able to go hunting. Just didn't work out that way. But having Quinn around helps. Quinn's his little buddy, you know. Jesse and I are introverts, more enjoy our alone time, our solitude, and Quinn is more social like Brian. So Quinn will hang out, watch whatever he's watching on TV, converse with him about the program, whatever. Where Jesse and I would rather just be doing our own thing, you know. But it definitely helps him when Quinn is home for the weekend, as far as not being all in a funk and so demanding for everybody else's attention. just doesn't know how to play alone. But anyway, yeah. I had a customer I talked to this last week. She was very upset at first when I took the call. And she was one of those people who doesn't let you get a word in edgewise. She just needed to vent how upset she was about the price of her policy. And, you know, a lot of people will tell us about the fact that they're retired on Social Security, fixed income, all of those things that, you know, legitimately make it very difficult to afford your expenses when they keep going up. So when your car insurance goes up, you know, your Social Security doesn't go up. So it makes it very hard year after year. And, you know, not only was that one of her issues, but she also told me essentially her life story as to the background of why she couldn't afford for her rates to go up on her car insurance. Well, her story was incredibly interesting. It really was. She 4 hours. She talked to me for 4 hours telling me this, and it got to the point where, you know, I was so interested. I kept asking more questions about her life, which had nothing to do with car insurance. So, you know, I really wasn't doing too hot on keeping her on task and talking about her policy and whatnot to help get the rate down. But she just needed somebody to talk to. So I was there to talk to her, and she grew up in Detroit in the 60s, I believe. And she grew up in the foster care system and was eventually adopted by her aunt and uncle. And when they passed away, she inherited their house. And so she was telling me of all the memories of her childhood in this house and how important this house was to me. And she has recently had all these expenses coming up with this house that she inherited that she does not want to give up because it means so much to her. But she apparently has tenants in it, and they're like not good tenants, and things going wrong like black mold and other unexpected expenses with this house and all kinds of shit going on with that, and doing everything she can to hang on to it because it's in like Detroit where there's a lot of abandoned places and not a great neighborhood, and the crime and everything else, and doesn't want it sitting vacant because that makes it even worse for people breaking in and turning them into, you know, crack houses or whatever. And but she was telling me about her childhood of growing up in this house, kind of explaining to me why it was so important for her to prioritize this house over her, you know, her car insurance. Rates going up, making it so difficult for her. She was telling me about the I guess the and I don't know a lot of the history of the 60s and stuff, but she said that the riots were going on her street in Detroit, I'm guessing back in the 60s, and that the National Guard was called in for these riots. And I didn't Google exactly what the riots were about. My ignorance is showing. Okay, I couldn't leave it at just being ignorant. I wanted to give a little bit of background as to what exactly the 1967 Detroit riot was. So I pulled some information off of Wikipedia. The 1967 Detroit Rebellion, also known as the 1967 Detroit Riot or 12th Street Riot, was the bloodiest incident in the long hot summer of 1967. Composed mainly of confrontations between black residents and the Detroit Police Department, it began in the early morning hours of Sunday, July 23rd, 1967, in Detroit, Michigan. The precipitating event was a police raid of an unlicensed after-hours bar, then known as the Blind Pig, on the city's near west side. It exploded into one of the deadliest and most destructive riots in American history, lasting 5 days and surpassing the violence and property destruction of Detroit's 1943 race riot 24 years earlier. In Detroit, an estimated 10,000 people participated in the riots, with an estimated 100,000 gathering to watch. 36 hours later, 43 were dead, 33 of whom were black and 10 white. More than 7,200 people were arrested, most of them black. Mayor Jerome Kavanaugh lamented upon surveying the damage. Quote, "Today we stand amidst the ashes of our hopes. We hoped against hope that what we had been doing was enough to prevent a riot. It was not enough." End quote. But she said, yeah, the National Guard was right in her front yard and all this stuff and all the looting and everything going on during all that time. And her aunt and uncle, a lot of people abandoned their homes and left when that all happened. And her relatives hung on to it, hung on to the house and stayed, wrote it out and didn't leave and all that, stayed through the whole issues and all of that stuff, and how much she admired them for doing everything they could to maintain a stable home for their kids, plus, you know, her being their niece that they had adopted and trying to give them a stable home life and all of that. It was so very interesting. I mean, she told me a whole lot more about her life in that 4-hour phone call, but I just found that very interesting. And then apparently her daughter ended up going into prison. The details of why, I guess, don't really matter. But her daughter went to prison, and her grandchildren ended up in foster care. And she was trying to get approved to adopt her grandchildren, but they didn't approve her for the reason she told me was that they felt that she was too close to the situation. It would be too meddling with letting the daughter have access to the kids, and they didn't want the kids being around the mother or something like that. So they didn't approve her to be the adoptive party. And you know, eventually down the road, her daughter got out of prison and she got her life straightened out. And she said that, you know, she didn't see her grandkids for many, many years. And then I think she said when he was 28, her grandson had messaged her on Facebook asking if she was, you know, so-and-so from Detroit. And she said yes, and he said that he was, you know, her grandson and wanted to meet her and all of this. And she said that, I asked, well, how old was he when he went into foster care? And I can't remember if she said 5 or 9, but it had been over 20 years since anybody had seen him. And he found her on Facebook, and they reunited, and now they're very close. But yeah, she shared that with me. And then, of course, I then shared my partial story with my kids, not having seen my twins now in, it's been 7 years since I've seen them. And, you know, I think she told me that story to kind of reassure me that eventually, you know, we'll all find our way back to each other and don't give up and all that stuff. So, you know, this phone call had started out with her really upset, kind of directing it right at me. But I think just the fact that I was perfectly happy listening to her kind of spill her guts about how hard things have been for such a long time on the phone. You know, 4-hour phone call. That's a pretty long phone call. She asked if there was, you know, do they have a survey? Because I'd really, I'm still leaving. I'm, you know, going to cancel my policy, but is there a survey I can fill out for you? Well, we don't do those anymore, but what we do now is if you'd like, I can transfer you over to my supervisor's voicemail and you can leave him a message. So I haven't heard back on that yet. But yes, she got transferred over to his voicemail because my boss is on vacation right now. But typically what happens is if somebody leaves him a voicemail, he'll then forward you the voicemail so that you can listen to it. So, yeah, that's my heartfelt customer service story from this last week. Was listening to this woman talking about growing up as a young girl in Detroit in the 1960s. Very, very interesting hearing, you know, first party perspective on that rather than just documentaries and movies. Very, very interesting. She even said something along the lines of, you know, she wished that I was in Detroit because she'd have me over for coffee because she wanted to spend more time talking to me. She really enjoyed talking to me, and I really enjoyed talking to her too. So, yeah, very interesting woman. But yeah, she said foster care was horrible, being in the foster care system for that period of time. And the social worker, here's the other story about it. So the social worker came to check on her once she was placed with a family in foster care and she wasn't doing well. So I guess the family had called the social worker to come and try and help because she was like not speaking to anybody and just kind of hiding in her room and wouldn't communicate. And the social worker came to see her and had asked her if she knew of any family at all. And she said, my auntie, you know, so-and-so, and my uncle so-and-so. But she didn't know. I wonder if she said she didn't know their last name. Maybe she did know their last name. I can't remember for sure. We'll go with she didn't know their last name. And they said, well, do you know where they live? And she said, they live on such and such street. I don't remember what street she said. But apparently it was right down the street from the Ford factory or something. Or I don't know. But so the social worker went down and found this couple, you know, I guess based on their first names, living on that particular street near this business, and told them that their niece was in foster care and wasn't doing well, and they immediately went to the foster care home and visited her. I don't know if they were able to take her right away. They probably let them take her home for a sleepover, but then they ended up getting custody and adopting her. But yeah, can you imagine? Crazy. So I don't know what had happened to this woman's parents that she ended up in foster care. If they ended up in prison or if they ended up killed in a horrible accident. I think they were killed in an accident. I can't remember. There was a lot of information to take in during that 4-hour call. It was all very, very interesting. But a lot of it was she was speaking out of anger at the time, kind of like scolding me about how difficult everything had been for her, and now this kind of attitude. So she was just kind of rattling through a lot of it at the beginning of the call. And then as I started asking her questions about her life, she calmed down, and it became a conversation rather than a tirade. But yeah, I guess that's, you know, another kind of life lesson is sometimes when you get the irate customer, you know, they're not mad at you. And they're probably, if they're really over the top angry, it's probably not really the business or the company or whatever it is either that's triggering that strong reaction. It's very likely they got some major shit going on in their lives, and this is just the straw that broke the camel's back, you know, doing everything she can to hang on to this family home of hers, trying desperately to not have it, you know, end up becoming abandoned or whatever, or can't pay the taxes on it, or can't do the repairs and having it condemned, all of that, because it means so much to her. And then you raise her car insurance, and it just makes everything like the house of cards come falling down. So yeah, I mean, you can understand from that point of view why somebody would be that upset about their rate going up like $10 a month. So I mean, I've had people who actually called in and wanted to cancel their policy because their rate went up 80 cents a month, because they're on that fixed of an income, that tight of a budget, that they're already drowning, and you're just, you know, drilling holes in their boat. So yeah, I can only imagine now too, with Jesse being as young as he is, 22, single guy, and now having this at-fault accident, totaling out his car. I can only imagine what's going to happen to our insurance. It's not going to be good. I can pretty much guarantee that. But again, thankfully, everybody survived. Nobody perished. Nobody has, you know, as far as we know at this point, nobody has any, like, crippling injuries or anything like that. Come on. Man, that's sticky. So far, everything's okay. And hopefully the other gentleman that he hit is truly okay, and we don't have, you know, something coming down the pipeline later on as a result of this. All right, well, that's my story. And I'm kind of running out of anything else to talk about. Plus, I think this video is plenty long. If I come up with something else to talk about, we'll put out another video. But I actually got something done this time. Okay. So be thankful. Again, this week is all about giving thanks. Be thankful for what you have. Even if it's not much, you have something. Because if you're seeing this video, you have something that you're even able to see this video. You're alive. You're breathing. You're coherent. You have your faculties, and you can understand what I'm saying. Okay. Till next time, guys. Be nice to customer service representatives. They're just doing their job. Okay. Bye, guys.
Well, that was fun, but if you're interested in almost any of the products that she's using here, they're most likely linked in the description of the video down below. And of course, you know, she gets a little thank you from Amazon if you buy it through her. So if you're interested in any of these items, show us the money. Just kidding. Anyway, hope y'all have a great week and a very thankful Thanksgiving. Okay. And don't forget to hit that like button if you liked it, and well, you know, the bell and the